how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. Today we've got a couple of rake models to look at. Now these were sent by Matt over at Rake Knives Canada, and I will put a link to their website, the Rake Knives Canada website down below. I'd encourage you to go over and check him out. He does support the channel an awful lot. I've had lots of rake knives, largely thanks to him, and of course thanks to you guys for requesting them, which is often what leads to me getting my hands on them anyway. But a huge thanks to Matt for sending these along, and as I said, Rake Knives Canada will be down in the description box. Head over there and pick one of these up, or both of them, or whatever you want for yourself. These knives, let's see if I can find a model number here. So we have the M875 TZ, and we have the M121 TZ. These knives are a bit of a departure for rake knives because generally we're used to seeing them do a lot of sort of budget-friendly stuff, a lot of nice G10 liner locks in decent steel. Like, you know, we've had tons and tons of great rake knives, tons that I've highly recommended and been really impressed by. And so now they have kind of cranked it up a notch. So let's get these boxes out of the way. And first of all, let me show you this guy. This is the M875. This is a fully new model for rake knives. And some things that we're not used to seeing here. Of course, the blade steel on this is N690. We have what's most interesting is not the carbon fiber inlay, but the titanium frame lock handle. So this is a titanium frame lock, and it does represent a slight change for Rake, who are going to be introducing this and some of their other models like this one in titanium frame lock. So this is a model that people are very familiar with, the M121. This is a knife that I've often been asked to review and just hadn't gotten around to it yet. So it's nice to be able to review this one, which happens to be a titanium frame lock with, hold on, dun da da da, S35vn Steel. So, as I was saying, a bit of a departure for Rake to move into sort of the higher end segment of the marketplace. But I will say the prices have been kept pretty reasonable. I think this guy goes for around 200 bucks Canadian, and this guy goes for like 170 Canadian. So that probably translates into, I don't know, 160 US and 130 US or something like that, maybe 140. So very affordable titanium frame locks, nice materials. Let me give you a quick rundown on each of these. So we'll start with this one first. We've got a really nice drop point blade there, bead blasted finish. I don't love the finish on this knife, but that's okay. You can see I've done a little bit of cutting with this already, so that's only because I just happened to have it and be playing with it this morning when I needed to cut open a couple of craft dinner boxes. So moving down here, we've got a little carbon fiber inlay. We've got some nice milling on the handle there. Backspacer, and I'm not sure if this is steel or milled titanium. I would suspect this is stainless steel, and perhaps the backspacer is aluminum. Not sure about that yet. Secondary lock, which we're used to seeing on a lot of the Rake models. If you take a look there, you can see that these are the hollow tube pivot and body screw in the back. And you can also see that this handle has been quite heavily milled out to save some weight. So that's a quick rundown on the materials here and on the finishes. Let's pick up the 121 and do a similar thing. Again, a bead blasted blade. Now that I think is kind of a crying shame. This blade is kind of a special blade, very unique, and ought to have been in satin just to make it pop a little bit more. Generally speaking, you guys know I like satin quite a bit more than bead blast, but Rike seems to really like that bead blasted finish. We have a very nice titanium handle here. Moving it to the other side, we've got a bright blue deep carry clip. Take a look there. You can see there's no milling on this one. All right, but they do have a lanyard tube here, or a lanyard stud here, I'm sorry, and a standoff down here. Stainless steel lock bar insert on both of these. I forgot to mention it on the 875. So that's a quick rundown on the materials. Now let me go back and give you specs. Okay, so this guy is going to be 8 1/4 inches overall, 3 1/2 inches on the blade, 4 11/16. Sorry about that, guys. I'm messing up the camera here. There we go. 4 11/16 on the handle with quite a substantial grip area, 3 7/8, and weighs in at 3.8 ounces, which is actually pretty comfortable for a titanium frame lock of this size. I have no complaints whatsoever about that weight. Next one here, the M121, is going to be a little bigger, although not crazily bigger. 8 7/16 is the overall length, 3 5/8 on the blade length, 4 13/16. So that's just a little over 4 3/4 on the handle length. We've got 4 inches of grip area, so pretty generous handle here, and 3.9 ounces. So just a little bit heavier, even though it lacks the milling that you find on the 875. Now, what are my thoughts? First of all, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on these knives? Are you happy to see rake knives moving into, the higher end of the marketplace? Do they have some models that you would like to see done in a titanium frame lock? I'm sure Rake Knives would be very, very interested to hear that information, but so would I. I know this particular model, the 121, is one that you guys have asked me about a number of times, and I suspect a lot of people will be pretty happy to see this one done in more premium materials, because I know it's a pretty popular model from them. This, of course, is a brand new model released just as a titanium frame lock, to my knowledge anyway. I guess it's possible that there's I'm pretty sure that maybe they'll have a stainless steel frame lock coming or something like that, but at this point I'm pretty confident that this is only available in the titanium, but at a fairly reasonable price point, so I don't think that's anything to really complain too much about. Okay, so what are my thoughts on these two knives? Well, I think both of these knives are pretty well done. I really find myself drawn to this one, honestly, as a really nice EDC. I like this blade shape. It's high and flat and pretty thin behind the edge. I can see getting a lot of work done with this knife. Seems very practical. Well, that practicality is delivered in a pretty attractive and lightweight package. This guy is going more for style points, okay? Still a very useful knife. Great action on this. Very comfortable in hand, and I can see why this is such a popular model for rake knives and why a number of you guys have asked me about it. And again, this is a very capable knife. Everything's well put together. It's certainly a useful cutting tool, and it's a useful cutting tool for those who want just a little more flair maybe from their pocket knife. Okay, so that's my initial thoughts on these two knives. Again, I'd love to hear what you think down below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will oh yeah, and don't forget to follow that link over to Ruike Knives Canada. There we go. Now I can say we will talk to you soon.